In this last video, we're going to be discussing character and paragraph panels, justification, leading and spaces between lines, kerning between individual characters, and tracking space between all characters on a line. So, let us turn off the other items we have on the screen. Let's put on a paragraph, if you will. And now let us begin to explore the panels here. So when we go over to the text tool and we have our text tool in place, you'll notice across our panel here we have justifications. Left justify takes all this type and pushes everything to the left, and this is why we have these gaps here on the right. Center justify balances both sides, and a right justify puts everything on the right and leaves the negative space on the left side. Now, we also have here up on the tool panel, toggle the character and paragraph panel. So if I hit that, the panels, I get the character and the paragraph, and that's what they mean by toggle between the two. The character here lets you change the size of the font, so if you wanted to make them really tiny, right? You could also deal with other things related to the type. For example, type has a factor which is known as leading. Leading is the space between lines. So if we were to change the leading, notice how the space between the lines would separate. And if I were to increase it, I would push the lines apart. So that's what leading does. Next, over here, we have something known as kerning. And kerning is setting the space between two characters. So again, if we were to change that, the standard is 0, but you could set two individual characters to be closer to each other. I'm not going to really do that because it kind of throws things off. And also, when we look at here, when we see the other option is working with tracking, and that does all the spacing between all the objects, not just between two individual objects. So that's leading, kerning, and tracking. Now, under paragraphs, we have different kinds of justifications. We have here, beside the left, center, and right justify, we also have what's known as justified last left. So it'll justify everything square except the last thing on the left. You could do the same thing up to the last line. You could do it up to the right, or you could do it full justify so your entire block looks like looks exactly like a let's close this little window here. Close tab, so your entire block of type will be a perfect little square. So those are the different things that go on there. So you can adjust your paragraphs based on here, and you can see all kinds of different things. You can also adjust your characters.